Good morning, Flosstube. It is Monday, May 21st. It is day 21 of Stitch Mania. We're getting down there, but I am still going strong. I still have a lot of projects I'm looking forward to and still loving all of my starts. And of course, now that I've started to record, Nina has decided she needs to come in and play in the boxes that we have sitting in this room. So, any crinkling, yes, like that. Nina, really? Hold on. No. For heaven's sakes, cat, really? And then she looks at me like, what? You have this here for us to play with. So, what have you guys been up to? I hope you've been stitching. I certainly have. As you can see, yes, oh, I'm going to kill that cat. Oh my God. Yesterday's start was the Philip Foster Farm by Heartstring Samplery. This is an exclusive piece to a club called the Girls Club that is being run by the store called Country Sampler in Wisconsin. Beth Twist does talk about it in her recent Flosstube, so if you're interested in that, you can watch her Flosstube to get more information. This is what I have gotten done so far. My plan was to outline as much of the house as I could, and that's what I worked on yesterday. So you can see I have, let's see, I got this roof line here done. Came up here, got the outline to the window done along here, and then I started on the porch railings a little bit. So, I'm pleased with it. It was a fun stitch. I think it's going to be an awfully pretty little piece when it's done. So there is that. And today, oh, and this fabric I have hiding back here, this is from Kaniki's Whims and Prims. This is going to be for a start on the 25th. Her Winter Wonderland design. I got that out and got it all pressed yesterday while I was pressing this piece. Now this was my I'm doing Louise and Henry. And I don't know whether you remember, I showed you this yesterday, and the linen was quite a bit lighter. I decided to have fun and do some coffee dyeing. This is the first coffee dyeing I have done. I basically followed what Chelsea and Priscilla have talked about, with a little bit of a difference. I just used some leftover coffee that we had, which is kind of a shame because it was a yummy amaretto flavor, but now my fabric smells very nice. So that's kind of fun. She's now sitting in the midst of all the boxes. Oh, cats. But one thing I looked up is if there was a way to set the dye in plant fibers. You know, when you dye wool, you set it differently than when you dye plant fibers, like, and this is linen. And to do it right, you need soda ash or sodium bicarbonate, but they said you can use salt. So I just tossed a little bit of salt in with the coffee, and I put this in a little glass bowl in the microwave and just heated it several times, not to boiling, but several times, and let it sit for probably a good half hour at least. And then I put it in a little nonstick round baking pan and stuck it in the oven for, boy, that was probably only about 10 or 15 minutes on 200 just to dry it out. And so I got some lovely modeling there. I'm really pleased with it. So I've started. This is a 32 count linen. The pattern calls for 28. The finished size on a 28 is 5.5. Let's see, 5.5 by 5.5. Because this is 32, the finished size is going to be 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. So still quite a nice size. I decided I'm starting on the bottom here. This just this down here, nice straight line to start with. You can see that I've done a little bit of two colors. The brownish, that's a topaz. That is the called for color. The other one is supposed to be Classic Colorworks Antique Lace. I don't have that, but I'm using, let's see, this is one of my new ones from Vintage Motto, or Victorian Motto, called Vintage Crochet. So it's a nice creamy with some pinky browny overtones. I decided to, I keep bumping you, I'm sorry. I decided to, she's getting ready to pounce again, to try both of the colors, not only to see how well they played against each other, but anytime, like, you know, I change colors a lot. And anytime I do, I test them out a little bit first so I can see how they work with the linen, see how they work with the other colors. I'm really pleased with this. I think this is pretty. I am using only one strand of floss on the 32 count. The coverage, you can see it's a little bit more sheer on the Vintage Crochet than it is on the topaz. That's mostly because the topaz is a darker color, so you can't see through it as well. But I'm okay with that. This is probably going to be hanging with my history of sheep. I think I'm probably going to have a sheep wall because I love sheep. And the history of sheep, I just have done 1/2. That might be on a 36 count, but still, it still looks a little bit sheer. So I think it'll be a nice look together. And I've also decided when I get to the sheep on this one, oh shoot, I meant to go down. When I get to the sheep on this one, I'm going to do the sheep. So I'll do the sheep over 2. It's the same floss color as the white down here. I think I'll do the sheep over 2, so that'll make it stand out more and look a little bit more woolly. I'm not sure about the letters yet, whether I'll do those, not over 2, with 2 strands. I'm going to do the white on the sheep with 2 strands. I'm not sure about the lettering. I'm going to have to look and see. I'll just play with it and see what it looks like, see what I think about it. So that is my plan for that. Let's see. Yesterday was Sunday, a very quiet day. Mike made some chili in the Instant Pot, in one of the Instant Pots. You know, we have 2, of course. And he made General Tso's chicken with broccoli and rice mixed in. So we have meals in the freezer for the week. He also made some cornbread to go with the chili. I'm not a big chili eater, but he loves it, and it's a great meal for him to take to work. I'm gonna fold that in a little bit. So other than that, yeah, I was feeling kind of not too good all day, so I didn't do a whole lot. I did do a lot of stitching, though, as you can tell from that house. I got quite a bit done. Plus getting the fabric dyed, that was fun. I could see doing more fabric dyeing, you know, getting some RIT dyes and doing more. Part of me kind of likes the idea. Part of me kind of goes, more stuff, Jan, more stuff. You don't need more stuff. So we'll see. We shall see. Of course, then the other part of me says, if you're going to do it, get the stuff before you go to Hawaii, because it's probably going to be a lot harder to get out there and or more expensive. So, who knows? It may be cheaper in the long run, though, being in Hawaii, to dye my own instead of having stuff shipped. I need to talk to Michelle about that. If people charge more for shipping, since it is US, do they charge more? I mean, I would assume so, right? So much further. But lots of unknowns in our life still. And that seems to be the story of my life. The other thing I contemplated some yesterday was my Christmas in July plans. Kim Gatz, she's Kim Renee Gatz on Instagram, posted a picture of her old just cross-stitch Christmas ornament issues, and she has a bunch of them. Excuse me. And it made me realize, or made me think, oh yeah, I have some of those too. The issues I have are from, let's see, 1997 through 2001. And then I have some odd and ends, like I've saved from some magazines, some hardanger ornaments, and some of the freebie ornaments that designers would come out with. And so it got me thinking, you know, Christmas in July, I was originally thinking that I would just work on whatever Christmas designs that I have. And I have to say, I think I actually have more winter designs than Christmas, so that I might have to buy some Christmas, specific to Christmas, that kind of thing. But then Kim posted that picture, and so I started looking through those magazines, and I've made several of the ornaments in the past, of course, to give away as gifts. I actually don't have any of my cross-stitch ornaments. So what I think I'm going to do is make my Christmas in July plans, just make as many ornaments as I can. So, you know, and there may be some that I'll make doubles, that I want to make one for me and one to give away. But I think I'm going to, because I don't have any ornaments, I thought that might be a good idea. And I certainly have enough odds and ends of fabric and floss that I may not have to buy any of that. I'll stop it. And I can just make enough to decorate. I don't know whether what I'd like to have is kind of a second tree just for my ornaments. But in this apartment, in the setup we have now, and just a little tree, nothing big, but just a little tree for my cross-stitch ornaments. But we certainly don't have room for that now, and of course, that's irrelevant since we won't be here for Christmas. We'll be in Hawaii by Christmas time. But anyways, I think I'm going to make my Christmas in July. I'm not one of those people that make ornaments, you know, like make an ornament every month of the year. I'm not really interested in stitching Christmas stuff for the most part all through the year. I guess maybe I am a bit of a seasonal stitcher in that way. I've never really thought about it. But I think the idea of seeing how many I can get done in July is kind of fun. And then I'll probably also work on my other Christmas and or winter patterns mixed in there. So like I have the drawn thread Christmas welcome pattern, and of course I have the cross-eyed cricket December one that I've started here during Mania. So I'd like to get both of those done. And so yeah, I think that'll work well. I will start planning those out in June after all this madness is done. The other thing I have to really concentrate on in June is getting caught up on my By the Bay, my Harbor Haven piece. I'm getting close to getting done with 5. Section 5, of course, Section 6 came out on May 10th, so I need to do that. And then before you know it, in June, Section 7 is going to be out, so I really need to put that into high gear once all my Mania madness is done. But I don't regret doing Mania. I think this is awesome. I'm having so much fun with this. And I think, again, also whenever Mania is done, in addition to concentrating on Harbor Haven, I'll start working on like the little ones that I've started here that I know I can get done fairly quickly. Because I'd really like to see, and I think there are several that I'll be able to finish up in a few days of working on them. I like to split my day with my stitching. So my stitching usually is like, once I am not doing this Mania stuff, I'll work like the morning on one design, which in this case will probably be Harbor Haven for the most part until I get caught up with that. It really only takes me about a week to do each of the sections if I'm concentrating, doing concentrated stitching on them. So in the morning I will work on Harbor Haven, and in the afternoons I'll work on something else, usually an easier one. And then in the evenings, if I haven't gotten much stitching done during the day, then I'll do some stitching in the evening. But in the evening, that's when I do my knitting. I think I've mentioned before, I find it easier to sit and watch TV and knit than I do stitching. The other thing I've been thinking about, long-term plans, is I think I'm going to make next year my year of big projects. I own several, 4 to be exact, Heaven and Earth design ones. I have Farewell to Anger, which is just such a stunning piece. And then my other ones are all floral. There's one that's called PK Poppies. There's one called, let me find those for you. Because, of course, I have them nicely stored in Evernote in a note. Hold on, let me find Evernote. All right, so let's see. So Farewell to Anger is the top one. Lost in Bliss. Isn't that gorgeous? And for this one, I think I would choose just either probably just a white fabric, maybe a dappled gold, but probably just a white fabric, and I wouldn't stitch all that white. That would just be silly. This one is called PK Poppies. And then the bottom one is Ready for Harvest. And that one too, I think I would get I'd get some kind of mottled gold or mottled green maybe to do that on. And just stitch the main piece and maybe try and, like with this kind of watercolor look here, and maybe in here just do half stitches. Of course, this is a Haid. It's going to be on a 25 count over 1 anyways, and I'll probably just do 10. I don't know. But that's my plan. I think those are gorgeous. So those are my Haids. The other ones for next year would be Finish Hoity Toity. Harbor Haven would be done, so I could start Serenity Harbor. I have to get the Modern Folk Embroidery one done, so that is one I could concentrate on. And then the other one is Luz Gonzalez sampler. I had gotten that. That is a Mexican sampler. I'd gotten that at the attic when we were visiting out in Arizona. And so I plan to start that next year as well. So, next year, year of big projects. Have I forgotten one? I feel like I've forgotten one. I think that's it. That would be enough to keep me busy. And then all these other projects, little projects in between. Because you know, there's an awful lot of these crazy Mania starts that I won't have finished yet. And for Mania next year, I'll probably be doing a whip Mania rather than start a whole bunch of projects. So I hope some of you will join me for Christmas in July. I know several people have expressed an interest. Looking through the magazines last night, I can tell it's going to be... It's funny because I checked off the ones back when I got the magazines that I liked. And my taste hasn't really changed all that much. I kind of expected that it would, but it actually hasn't. But looking through it, there's so many. I guess I should end my thread here at some point, huh? Let me go ahead and do that. There's so many that I like. I don't know whether I should just start in one magazine and just start working my way through and not even like pick. Or, yeah, because it could take me half a month just to pick the ones I like. So we shall see. Maybe I could do like this, and you know, the morning of I can figure out which one I want to do and find the fabric and pull out some floss and just go with it. The hard part is going to be the finishing, the fully finishing. And I am one of those people that once I get things finished, I like to fully finish it right away. I'm afraid otherwise that the excitement disappears and it just sits and I forget about it and I move on to the next thing, and before you know it, you have a whole pile of unfinished projects. So, which is kind of funny when you think that I don't have a problem with all these whips. But anyway, I'm going to have to figure out, I don't want to, of course, finish them all the same. You know, I want to have a nice variety, but at the same time, I don't own a sewing machine. I don't know that I'm going to want to hand stitch a bunch of pillows. I think I really need to just invest in a sewing machine, but I don't know anything about them. I want something simple. I could just, again, I had a sewing machine, just a little simple portable one. Another one of the things that got sold whenever we were moving, and I could just kick myself. So here I am back again trying to figure out what I need. And I don't even know where I got that, whether someone gave it to me, whether I got it. I mean, boy, talk about no recollection at all. It just, and you know, what I used it for most, I used it for sewing in my scrapbook projects. I would, if you don't know anything about working with digital elements, this may not mean much to you, but I would sew crazy designs on paper, scan, and on white paper with black thread, scan that in, and then extract those stitches from the paper so that people would then have all this crazy sewing to use on their digital scrapbooking elements. You talk about a boatload of work. Oh my God. But that's what I used it for, plus other things, sewing on paper scrapbook layouts, and for other things, sewing flowers together for digital elements, doing the same kind of thing. But so yeah, I don't know that it really ever got used for actual sewing. So anyways, I've noticed, I've been looking on the Facebook Marketplace, and there are a ton of people selling all kinds of different sewing machines, but I know nothing. So I don't know whether it'd be worth it to just go to Joann's and say, you know, give me your basic model, or to just take my chance with one of the ones on the Facebook Marketplace and see, or even like OfferUp or Let Go or one of those, and see if I can get one that's not too crazy for what I need it for. If any of you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them, because I just don't know. So I think this bottom piece at least isn't going to take very long at all. I feel like I'm zipping right along on this. It helps that it's just these cute little squares, and I do love the play of these two colors together. This is going to be a sweet little piece. And again, I am so thrilled that I'm starting it. This is actually one of the first patterns I got when I got back into cross stitch. So I've had this since probably last fall. So I am very happy. And I could buy all the sheep patterns that are out there. I love being a knitter. Yeah, I just love all the sheep patterns, but that would be silly. Over time, I will build up a sheep wall. But let's get done what I have, especially that history of sheep. That's a bigger one. Okay, I'm going to finish up this square, and then I will show you what we're doing tomorrow. What we're doing tomorrow. Notice how that I roped you into my madness too. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I think there's a few of you that are still watching me. that are sticking with me through the madness. It's kind of fun though, isn't it? All right, stop that right there. Tomorrow, tomorrow we go back to a whip. So, this is one I adore. Brenda Gervais, ABC Darien Schoolhouse Samplers, little schoolhouse pillows. I fell in love with this the moment I saw it. I think she'd already been up to the third part when I found this, and I jumped on it immediately. So you can see that I don't have very much done. I am doing it on the called for Mushroom Lugana 28 count, I believe it is, over 1. This is lovely to stitch on. This is over 1 on this is so, I don't know whether you can, there, isn't that gorgeous? Over dyed floss, I'm pretty sure I'm using the called for flosses. So pretty, look at that pretty band of grass. So what I'm doing though is different than everybody else, because you can see in a theme here. I'm going to do this as one long piece. Most people do finish it as pillows. I've seen one person who has done it as more of a sampler, with each of the sections being as little blocks on the sampler, which I really liked. But I already have this started and cut in a long piece. So there is that. I actually, I think I miscounted. I don't remember exactly. I think I miscounted something on this first piece. But regardless, I'm probably also going to leave out, it's hard to see on, especially if I'm holding it off camera. But I think as I was doing it, I was thinking like between these two, you have this vine. I think I'm going to leave that out on both sides so that there's not really a separation. And of course they're facing the wrong way, but I don't think I'm good enough to try and flip those around. I mean, maybe, yeah, I don't know. But there's some words, you can't see them. There's some words underneath some of these that I'll probably leave out. I'm going to make sure this strip, the bottom strip, will go across all of it evenly. And then I'm going to add in things that I've had to leave out just to make sure that the spacing is right and all of that. But anyways, I adore this. Happy to be getting back to it. Yeah, this is another one I need to get done because I just think this is so pretty. But anyways, that is tomorrow, what I'll be working on tomorrow, a 1/1 project. So join me for the insanity. Have a great day. Stitch your hearts out, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.